Welcome to the Eris Oracle Sourcing Platform Supplier Training. This session will help guide suppliers through the Request for Quotation, or RFQ, process and all necessary submissions. Before we get started, we would like to highlight the following points. 1. You must use Internet Explorer only. You may not use Chrome, Firefox, or Safari, as this will cause upload issues. 2. Save as draft often. System maintenance can occur at any time, so it is best to save your work often so it doesn't get lost. 3. Do not use your browser back or forward buttons. This can cause errors within Oracle. There are control buttons located within the Oracle interface. Please use those. 4. All quotes will be completed in US dollars unless specified otherwise. 5. Should you encounter any difficulties or have any questions about the RFQ process, please do not hesitate to contact your Eris category manager. Let's begin. Please go to You will select the iSupplier link, which will bring you to the Oracle sign-in page. Please input your username and password to enter the Oracle sourcing platform. Your Eris category manager is responsible for setting up the user accounts associated with a specific vendor. Should you have any trouble logging in, please contact your Eris category manager. On your first login, you will be required to change your password. All users must log into their account once every 90 days or their account will become inactive. Please keep a record of your username and password so it won't be forgotten. Upon successful login, you will land at the Oracle Sourcing Platform homepage. On your first login, we would recommend that you change applicable settings. Click the Preferences link in the upper right-hand corner of the page. On the Preferences page, you can modify language, country, date format, number format, and time zone. Time zone is the most important. Please make sure it is accurate so RFQ deadlines will be displayed in your preferred time zone. This is also where you can change your password after your first login. Then click Apply in the upper right or lower right-hand corner of the page. Your new settings will be saved. Check for the updated confirmation at the top of the page indicating your new preferences have been saved. Then click the Home link in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Now to navigate to the RFQ homepage, please click GSO Sourcing External User. When the new options populate, select Sourcing Homepage. This will take you to the main negotiation screen. On this page, you can see the responses your company has already responded to under the Your Active and Draft Responses section, as well as new and outstanding RFQs that are awaiting your company's response, your company's open invitations. If at first you don't see a specific RFQ listed, please select Full List under your company's open invitations. That should give you visibility to every RFQ that is awaiting your company's response. To begin a quote, please select the RFQ number your company would like to respond to. Once you have landed on the RFQ you would wish to quote to, please take notice of, under the Header tab, Time Left. This shows how much time is left for your company to respond or modify quotes. It is based on the time zone you provided in Preferences earlier and the close date. The effective dates. These are the dates the prices your company submits will be active in our systems. Notes and attachments. Please check to see if your ARIS category manager has attached any specific documents or notes to this entire RFQ. Under the Lines tab. This tab will outline the ARIS part numbers we are requesting your company to quote, the quantity of parts per quote, each 100 units, etc., an estimated quantity for the time period given in the quote. This is optional information that would be provided by your ARIS category manager. Under the Controls tab, important dates are listed here, including optional functionality your ARIS category manager may have included in this RFQ. The fields with the checkboxes are not required and might vary depending on the RFQ. Please read them before submitting any prices. After the initial glance at the RFQ, we can begin the official submission process. In the upper right-hand corner drop-down menu, please select Acknowledge Participation, then click Go. On the next screen, please select the Yes button when asked, will your company participate? You are welcome to include a note to the buyer, but it is not required. Then click Apply. After clicking Apply, you should land back at the RFQ main page. Go back to the upper right-hand corner drop-down menu and select Create Quote. Then click Go. You will now land at the Terms and Conditions page. The terms and conditions of the quote are located in the link Terms and Conditions on the left-hand side of the page. Please click the link and read the terms and conditions for every RFQ submitted, so you are aware of the ARIS expectations for this RFQ. You must click Accept if you would like to continue with the RFQ process. Should you have any questions regarding the terms and conditions of the RFQ, please do not hesitate to contact your ARIS category manager. After clicking Accept for the terms and conditions, you will land at the Quote Price Input page. There are two methods for inputting prices. Quote by line, which is suited for RFQs with only a few parts, and quote by spreadsheet, which is suited for RFQs with many parts. This training will cover both methods. As you complete the quotes, please take note of the attributes for each part that your company will be quoting. The attributes give the vendor the opportunity to quote different prices to generic contract manufacturers, specific contract manufacturers in specific locations, and other information. Attributes will vary by type of quote. Please consult with your ARIS category manager for attribute clarification. Let's begin with the quote by line method. Under the Lines subsection, please look at the part description under the line heading. If you see a blue circle, that means this part requires specific quoting elements called attributes. If a blue circle is not present, you have the ability to input the price in the appropriate quote price field. For parts with the blue circle, please select the pencil icon next to the part number you would like to quote. This will bring you to the quote page for that specific part number. Please input the ARIS direct price in the quote price field in the upper left-hand corner of the page. Under the Attributes section, you will see many fields. Let's focus on the first field, named Generic EMS Price or a similar title. This is where ARIS requests the price that will be shared with all of our contract manufacturing part numbers. Please input the price that can be shared with all our external manufacturing service, or EMS, providers in the quote value field. The next attribute fields ask for the price to contract manufacturer A in Taiwan, B in Thailand, and C in Mexico. If your company has different prices for different contract manufacturers, this is the area where separate prices can be listed. The last field asks, can the EMS prices be shared with the requisite contract manufacturers? A simple yes or no in the quote value field is all that is required, indicating whether or not the aforementioned contract manufacturer prices can be shared. If your company has a note or attachment that is specific to this part number only, it can be added under the Notes and Attachments heading on this page. Then click Apply. Repeat this process for as many part numbers as are available. One last note on attributes. They can be different for every RFQ. The attributes listed in a given RFQ are determined by your ARIS category manager. If you need any clarification about an attribute, or you have an attribute you would like added to subsequent RFQs, please talk with your ARIS category manager. For RFQs with many part numbers, you have the ability to quote by spreadsheet. Back at the main quote page, select Quote by Spreadsheet in the upper right-hand corner of the page. You will now land at the Import-Export page. Under Step 1 Export Spreadsheet, select Lines from the drop-down menu, and then click Export. A new window will open. Please select the Exported Lines RFQ number Excel file. When opening the file, Excel will give you an error message. Please disregard it and select Yes. You should now be looking at the RFQ in spreadsheet form. There are two very important considerations when quoting by spreadsheet. Do not add, delete, or modify any rows or columns that are generated by Oracle. Only add requested data or instructed later in the training. When uploading files to Oracle, they must be saved as a text tab delimited file. If you try to upload an excel.xlsx file, Oracle will give you an error message. Please input the ARIS Direct price into column K. If your ARIS category manager included product volumes for the time period of the RFQ, they will be in column H. Manufacturer part numbers would be located in column P, Note to Suppliers. You'll notice that the contract manufacturer EMS attributes are still in the RFQ, just in column format. Please insert the generic EMS price in column AA, specific contract manufacturer prices in columns AG, AM, and AS, and can the EMS prices be shared with the requisite contract manufacturer's feedback, yes or no, in column AY. Once all the required information is in the spreadsheet, save a copy in the Excel format in a destination folder of your choosing. Save another copy this time selecting Text Tab Delimited as the file type in the Save As window. You will receive an error message. Disregard it and select Yes. Back at the Import-Export page, under Step 2 Import Spreadsheet, Select Lines as the type and browse to find the text tab delimited format of the workbook you were just working on. Select Import. All the prices you imported should appear back on the main quote screen in the appropriate quote price fields. You can now select the Update pencil and confirm the attribute data that was entered. Should you receive an error message during the upload, download a fresh template and try again. If that doesn't work, please contact your ARIS category manager for troubleshooting. Whichever method you use to input prices, quote by line or quote by spreadsheet, the final review and submission process is the same. After reviewing the quotes and adding any necessary attachments to the entire RFQ, click Continue in the upper right-hand corner. You will now land at the review page. This gives the vendor one last chance to review the quotes and confirm all the quotes being submitted. Select the radio buttons to review the information submitted for each part number. Please take the review steps seriously. Depending on the way your ARIS category manager set up the RFQ, you might not have a chance to go in and make edits. Upon final review and confirmation, please hit Submit in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Please only click it once. Once you see the confirmation note, your quote has been received. Click Return to Sourcing Homepage. You will now see that the quote number is listed in the Your Active and Draft Responses, meaning that the quote has been received. You can view your quote by clicking on the requisite quote number, selecting View Quote History from the upper right-hand corner drop-down menu. And select Go. Now select the appropriate quote number under the Quote section. You will now have the ability to see the ARIS Direct prices that are being quoted. Should you need to edit your company's response and your ARIS category manager included the proper permissions when initiating the RFQ, you can modify the response. Click the Negotiations tab in the upper right-hand corner and then click the corresponding negotiation number. Start by selecting Create Quote from the upper right-hand corner drop-down menu. Once you receive the confirmation that the revised quote has been accepted, click on the Negotiations tab, select Go, and then repeat the same process. Click the requisite negotiation number and select View Quote History from the drop-down menu. You will now be able to see both quotes provided. Please note, old quotes are overridden when new quotes are submitted. This concludes the Oracle Sourcing Platform Supplier demonstration. To reiterate, make sure you are using Internet Explorer. Save as draft often. When uploading spreadsheets, make sure they are in the text tab delimited format. And should you run into any issues, your ARIS category manager should be your first point of contact. Thank you for participating.